Friendly disclaimer. Before getting this fog machine, I've never used a fog machine before. I'm a noob with this smoke, but I love the potential. So is it worth it? Hey, this is Matt, and today we are talking about fog machine. How to use a fog machine. How to use a fog machine in your photography. You know, good photography is all about the lighting. But taking it a step further is thinking about why is lighting so important? Because lighting sets the mood and the tone. It tells a story. It creates an atmosphere for your image. Well, what if there's nothing to light? Sure, you have your subject and maybe a wall, but what else? Can you light nothing? Kind of. That's where smoke and haze and fog can upgrade your photography. And that's where this little machine can help create that. I have really wanted a fog machine for a long time. And besides the big bulky Halloween ones, there were a few other small ones that were pretty pricey. And as much as I'm into this, I didn't want to spend that much money on a little fog machine. So enter Ulanzi, not sure the correct way to say it, Ulanzi. And they came up with this Filmog Ace Tiny Fog Machine. And this is it. You know, standing next to Black Series Captain Rex Trooper. It's pretty much exactly 6 inches tall, not including this adapter. It's very compact. From first opening the box to using it right away, it took about 15 minutes. And as stated before, this is my first fog machine, and because it's compact and because it's a newer model, it just came out recently, I was a little scared. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Did I connect this right? Is this going to blow up? I don't know. But it was all very easy to follow, easy to set up. I don't think anything dangerous can happen. That was just me overthinking, but it is very easy to use. Before continuing, I did want to give a quick shout out to Into the AM. I have the opportunity to collab with them in wearing some shirts that they make. Into the AM is a really cool company that I love. Once I was looking them up, the passion and the inspiration that they give off, and just the cool, unique looking designs. And after receiving them, the quality just spoke for itself too. I am a pretty big guy also, and so not all shirts fit me. I have to be very kind of particular with certain ones that don't make my body look weird, but these fit perfectly. From the length to the shoulders, they feel good. And it's their 12-year anniversary, so they are having a sale right now. It's 25% off their entire store from February 1st through February the 7th, 25% off everything. And if you use my discount link in the description, you will get an additional 10% off on top of that. So they're not expensive already, and they have their own deals and combos. But with that discount, it's beyond worth it. So definitely check out Into the AM. Real quick breakdown of what's in the box. Once you fill up the atomizing chamber and wait 3 minutes, you just start blasting. And that's it. There's a handful of combinations that involve the thickness of smoke and how fast it's blowing out. There's a pro mode, which has options that can set a timer or time lapse. I haven't really messed with those too much yet. And then you have all these different attachments that can provide different angles and ways that the smoke can come out. And this foam attachment creates a dry ice effect by making the smoke heavy. It gives this really sweet look. My favorite feature is this right here. It comes out. And you can control it remotely. Personally, one question that I had right away is this smoke safe? The short, quick answer is yes. Ulanzi lists the liquid, I like calling it fog juice, as only having 2 ingredients: vegetable glycerin and propylene and propylene glycol. Not sure if I said that right. Those definitely sound kind of sketchy, but they're actually in a lot of processed foods and drinks and even like cosmetic stuff that you may wear. And then doing a quick Google search, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention calls both generally safe. So if you're using this as intended, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. If you're blowing it up your nose, then that's not good. I would still recommend using it in a ventilated area. I've used it in my garage with the door open and closed, and I've used it in my office studio, and I haven't felt any like reaction or any negative thing at all. And I have been using it a lot. Like, I'll just blast it. Another concern I've seen people ask is, what about refilling the fog juice? I don't think Ulanzi is selling like specific bottles right now at the moment. I do think they will later on, but they even have a video posted on how to make your own, like with the ratio and all that stuff. And I'm not sure exactly what, these two ingredients are. Like, can I get them at the grocery store? I don't know. But it has it where you can just get that stuff, combine it with the right ratio, mix it up, and you have their fog juice that they use. Because they do recommend not using any other stuff or substance, so it won't mess up the motor or the atomizer in here. They're telling you how you can make it, so that's pretty cool. But even like practicing and beforehand, and like I did take a lot of shots using it. Like I'm not trying to save it or like conserve it. I'm just using it, and I had to refill it once. I don't think I filled it up all the way the first time. Like I don't know if you can see that, but like I've barely used any of it. And I know once I get better at it, once I understand it, I'm gonna use it better and more efficiently. But for now, I'm just kind of having fun with it, messing around. So I feel like this is gonna last, like this one bottle that it came with will last a long time. I'm not worried about running out or buying more. And with the smoke, there's a follow-up question of, does it leave a residue? If you have used atmosphere aerosol before, one kind of negative thing about it is the like slimy liquid residue that it does leave on the table or your figures. It's not that bad, but it can be kind of annoying. And for this fog machine, I haven't noticed that at all. I haven't noticed any residue or weird sticky feeling or slimy. Also on the Ulanzi website, it does say it leaves no fine dust and it's odor free. So let's see how I use this guy in action. Like at the beginning of the video, it's extremely easy to use. Like take out of the box, fill it up, you're using it already. But that doesn't mean that your pictures are going to instantly get better and it's like, oh, this is, the perfect atmosphere right away. No, I feel like I'm saying this a lot in my recent videos, but you have to remember that this is a tool. It's not one thing that you're gonna add to instantly make you a good photographer or instantly make your pictures better. No, it's a tool that you have to practice with and you have to get used to and figure out what works and what doesn't. I have only had it about a week. I'm definitely far from being a master of it, but I did come up with a few tips on how to make your photos look a little bit cooler. First thing, obviously, it's ideal to be in a ventilated area and you don't want it in a super closed space and you're just all in the smoke. So AC is fine, but if it's windy or there's a fan blowing, or like in my case with my office studio, I have the AC vent right here. I have the AC vent right here and it's blowing right at me and it's blowing like where my desk and setup usually is. Like you can see, it's just blowing it away. And so it's still filling the space. And so if I do it enough, you might notice some haze around me. But for the sake of our photography and focusing it on the product, like if something's blowing on your fog machine, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna do what you want it to do. Kind of with that is bouncing it off objects. When I first started, I had kind of just put my Mandalorian up or I was using Wrecker, and I was just trying to get a cool portrait and see what I can do. And so it was kind of like it would stay there, but then it would kind of like, float away, and that's it. But what I learned is if you do use like a board, or if you have a diorama, with stuff in it, like whether it's trees or buildings or props, like the smoke, the fog will go through all that. It will bounce off of that, and it will like, you know, kind of bundle and stay together. It depends on what you're going for, but I really like that contained look because you want to see it, you want to feel it. And so if it's bouncing off objects, then that it's keeping it where you want it. Whereas if it's just open field, open area, it's gonna go, you know, wherever. Number 3 has to do with lighting, and that's the main reason why you're using this. It's really to enhance your lighting because you're creating this atmosphere, you're creating this feel, but it's the lighting that goes through it. And like I said in the beginning, like instead of lighting nothing, you're lighting something. You're lighting the smoke, you're lighting the haze. And so that's the power of this, is combining this with your lighting. And soft lighting is still good. Hard lighting will give you a stronger effect. If you see at concerts where you have like the lasers and the huge lights with the light beams, you can only see those. It's not a lightsaber. It's just light that's hitting haze, that's hitting fog that they use to create that effect. So that's the power of this, is you're giving the light something else to light versus just your subject or just the wall. So that's the power of the fog. That's the power of the atmosphere. It all depends on what you're going for, but overall, backlight, fog machine is a good combo. Kind of going into my next point is like take a bunch of pictures, because you can kind of guide the smoke, especially with these tools, but you can't fully control, like you can't like stop and start the smoke. As far as like once it's out there, it's out there. You're gonna take a bunch of pictures because everything might look perfect and the smoke looks epic, but then it might kind of go in his face or something. And so if you're backlighting, it's focusing that light hard from the back. And I'm talking about like a big backlight, not just like a soft little, you know, edge light. Like give them some like power from behind. And that's really gonna make that smoke pop, and it is going to give you a better result overall. With multiple pictures, it's not just about choosing one picture. Besides trying to get the smoke right, like just for one picture, you're taking multiple pictures because you could blend those pictures too. So looking at this second picture of record that I took a total of 19 pictures. At first, there were a handful that the pose wasn't right, so I had to kind of readjust and repose. It's a simple pose, but you know, like I wanted it perfect, so I was fixing the pose. And then from there, I looked at 3 different ones that I kind of wanted to combine. And so if I did choose just one picture, it would be this one. I love the way the smoke looks overall, and the lighting is perfect, but I did want to have this side have some more, you know, smoke and atmosphere. So let's look at another picture. So in Photoshop, I added this second picture on top, and then I masked out the parts that I wanted to grab and wanted to use. And then I added the third picture because I really liked in this one how the smoke kind of went through his feet, through his legs, and kind of laid and hung out on the floor. And so I masked that and then combined it all. And so that's how I resulted in this image, which I love. Unashamed plug is, this is also a dial that I built, like this, I'm calling it a space shed. Follow me on Instagram or Threads. You see that I posted a lot of pictures of this because I'm in the process of building this. And I think I'm almost done. It was good enough for this picture, but you know, later on, I still want to add some details here and there. And the last tip for using this fog machine is be aware of your shutter speed, because that will affect how the smoke looks. If you're using a really high shutter speed on your camera, 300th of a second, it's gonna pretty much capture like, you know, just the smoke. And so it's just gonna look like a cloud, almost like cloud. Like you might want that. You might be going for that. So do that, fast shutter speed. But the slower you get, like in, for instance, this record shot I did, it was over a second, which isn't that long, but it's open for a second. It's capturing that smoke moving. And so the result isn't just like smoke and a cloud. It's like a wave of smoke. And that's a trick that if you're shooting like a river or a wave or the ocean or something, if it's a long shutter, like everything that's not moving is still, but the water is constantly moving. And so that flow is gonna give kind of like that blurry effect. So your shutter speed will affect how the fog and smoke look. With all that in mind, should you get this fog machine? It definitely can produce enough smoke to be used on things other than toys or products. So if you're into video making or movie making or like portrait photography of real people, this thing still can work in your favor, and it's still a great tool for you. It's powerful enough for it to go beyond toys. If you are into that and you're looking to spice up your work and try something new, like this little gadget, could do that. It is listed at $110, which can be pricey for some, but Ulanzi usually has a lot of specials. And even when I bought it, it was like the early bird special. And so I think I got it for 85 or 89. And so even for that price, it was like beyond worth it. But even regular price, I think it's worth it for the power that it can provide and just for the upgrade it can give your photos. And plus it is just fun to use like that. So if you do have any more questions about this device, ask, create, and inspire.